Good afternoon, everyone. Shall continue our topic with the CNH point group. In your previous lectures, we have discussed regarding the point group, that is CN point group, CNV point group, and we also had discussion regarding the molecules with low symmetry elements, that is C1 point group, CI point group, and CS point group. Today we are going to talk about the CNH point group. The molecules which come under the CNH point groups will have CN rotational axis of symmetry, an identity, CN rotational axis of symmetry, and sigma H. In addition to this, they also has SN improper axis of rotation. So these are the symmetry elements present in case of the CNH point group. The order of this point group H is equal to 2n, where the value of n is equal to the value which is in the CNH. Now let us take few groups where they comes under the particular CNV molecules which comes under the CNV point group. Now if you take the CH2 point group, the CH2 point group, the order of this point group, that is H is equal to 2n, that will be 4, because the value of n here is equal to 2, therefore 2 into 2 will get the 4, that is this particular C2H point group will have the 4 symmetry elements, and that 4 symmetry elements are identity, C21, 1 sigma H, and S2. In this S2 we have S21 and S22, but S22 is equal to identity, which we have already written here. So the total number of symmetry elements in case of the C2H point group are 6, that is identity, C21, sigma H, and S2. And remember one thing, that whenever in case of your CNH point group, if the value of n is even, this will have center of inversion, that is I, that is center of inversion. So in C2H point group, here the S21 itself will become the center of inversion. Now in further lecture we will be discussing regarding this S2, and I'll also show you how this inversion is coming there. Similarly, if you go for C3H point group, in case of C3H point group, the molecules which comes under the C3H point group will have order H is equal to 2n, that is equal to 6. They will be having 6 symmetry elements, and is identity, C31, C32, and C33, and C33 is nothing but identity, so no need of writing for that. Next it will have 1 sigma H, and it will have S3. In that S3 it will have S31 and S32. Total symmetry elements are 6. So therefore in case of C3H molecules, the order of the point group is 6, and the total number of symmetry elements are 6. And coming to the C4H, in case of C4H molecule, in C4H molecule, the order of this molecule H is equal to 2n, the value of n is equal to 4, therefore H is equal to 8. Total it has 8 symmetry elements in it, and that 8 symmetry elements are identity, C41, C42, C43, a sigma H, and S41, S42, and S43. Out of this, S42 will be inversion. So therefore the total number of symmetry elements are 8, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the S22 is inversion, therefore this is one symmetry element, 7, and S43. Total 8 symmetry elements are there in C4H. Similarly, if you take C5H, in C5H, H is equal to 2n, that is n value is 5, therefore total symmetry elements are 10, that is identity, C51, C52, C53, C54, right, C55 is nothing but identity, a sigma H, and S5, that is S51, S52, S53, S54 and S55. That is nothing but identity. Since this is odd number, the n value is odd, it does not have any kind of center of inversion. Whereas in C4H, the value of n is even, therefore it will be having the center of inversion. Therefore in C2H and C4H, the molecules will be having the center of inversion, whereas in C3H and C5H, the molecule does not has the center of inversion. So this is regarding the CNH point group. Now let us take few examples and discuss how these symmetry elements are present in it. That is C2H, C3H, C4H and C5H molecules. Let us take the example of 1,2 dichloroethylene. This particular molecule belongs to CNH point group, that is C2H point group, comes under CNH point group, and in particular it belongs to C2H point group. As we know that CNH point groups has a CN rotational axis of symmetry and sigma H. Along with that, it has a SN improper axis of symmetry. Now let us look at the different symmetry elements present in this particular molecule, that is 1,2 dichloroethylene molecule. As said earlier, it belongs to C2H point group. That means it should have a C2 rotational axis of symmetry. And that C2 rotational axis of symmetry in this molecule is in the center of the double bond. You can see in the center of the double bond, this is where your C2 rotational axis of symmetry is present. This is where the C2 rotational axis of symmetry is present. Along this axis, rotation of this molecule to 180 degrees will give you equivalent structure. You can see how the rotation takes place. This is how the rotation is possible in case of the 1,2 dichloroethylene molecule. So on rotation of every 180 degrees, it is giving you equivalent structure. This is the C1, C21 for the first time, C22 for the second time. You see that the molecule retains its identity, and this is regarding. Whereas if you look at the plane of symmetry, that is, since it is C2H point group, it should have sigma H, that is horizontal plane of symmetry is present in this molecule. As we know that the plane which is passing perpendicular to the principal axis of symmetry, it is called sigma H. Now here in this molecule, C2 is becoming the principal. It has only one rotational axis, that is C2. Therefore this C2 is the principal rotational axis of symmetry. So now the sigma should be perpendicular to this, then it becomes sigma H. Now if you see how the sigma H is this is how the sigma H is passing through the molecule. So if you look at the rotational axis of symmetry C2 and the plane of symmetry, both are perpendicular to each other. Since this plane is perpendicular to the rotational axis of symmetry, this plane is called sigma H. Now your molecule has C2 rotational axis of symmetry and sigma H. Along with that, it also has SN rotational axis of symmetry, SN improper axis of symmetry. Now that SN is nothing but S2, and in that S2 it has S21. S21 is nothing but inversion. As said earlier that a CNH point group with when n is even, it has a center of inversion. Now since this molecule has S2 where n value is 2, it has center of inversion, and that inversion can be shown like this. So this is how the inversion is possible, that is from the center of the molecule in the opposite directions. If similar groups match with each other, we say that it has center of inversion. Now this is the center of the molecule. If you look at this side, chlorine, and the opposite side of this also has a chlorine. Similarly from here, if you look at here, it has a hydrogen, and in the opposite side it also has an hydrogen. Therefore we say it has a center of inversion. In center of inversion, it should give equivalent structure. That is, if you replace these two groups and if you replace these two groups, you have the equivalent structure. Therefore we say it has a center of inversion. Now how that inversion is possible, you can see here. So from the center, you can see the replacement of atoms will give you equivalent structure. This is how we are going to represent the center of inversion. So therefore this is what regarding the CNH point group, that is 1,2 dichloroethylene. Now let us take the other example, that is difluorodiazine. And this molecule also belongs to the CNH point group. If you look at this molecule, this is what the structure of the diazine, that is difluorodiazine. We have 2 fluorine atoms here and 2 nitrogen atoms here. So diazo, difluoro, that is N2F2. This molecule also comes under the C2H point group. It has C2 rotational axis of symmetry. That is, this rotational axis of symmetry is passing from the center of the 2 nitrogen atoms. This is how the C2 rotational axis is present in case of the N2F2. So this is how we can represent. Now along this axis rotation takes place. Along this axis rotation will take place. Now I'll just show you how the rotation is possible. So this is how the rotation is possible along the C2 axis, or you can see like this. So along that C2 axis rotation is possible, therefore it is giving equivalent structure and it has a rotational axis of symmetry. And coming to the plane of symmetry, it should be perpendicular to the rotational axis, that is principal axis. Since your molecule, that is difluorodiazine, has only one rotational axis of symmetry and that is C2, perpendicular to this will be the sigma h. So this is how the sigma h is present. So therefore it has a sigma h that is perpendicular to the principal rotational axis of symmetry. And this molecule also has a S21. As we know that S21 is nothing but a inversion. So this molecule has a inversion in it, and that inversion can be shown like this. That is from the center of, from here, if you look at the opposite side, it has 2 fluorine atoms. Therefore we say it has a center of inversion. This is how we represent center of inversion. Right. So this is what regarding the difluorodiazine molecule. Now coming to the next molecule, that is boric acid, H3BO3. This particular molecule comes under C3H point group. In this, the center atom is boron. These red colored atoms are oxygens and the white colored atoms are the hydrogens. Now this is the structure of the boric acid, which is a planar structure, right? And this particular boric acid has C3 rotational axis of symmetry, sigma h, and S3 improper axis of symmetry. Now let us take the C3 rotational axis of symmetry. The C3 rotational axis of symmetry is passing from the center of the boron atom. This is how you can see, this is the C3 rotational axis. It has only one rotational, that is C3, and therefore this C3 itself becomes the principal rotational axis of symmetry. The C3 itself becomes the principal rotational axis of symmetry. Along this axis rotation takes place. If you see the rotation, here you can easily represent how the rotation is taking place. So this is how the rotation is taking place in case of the boric acid, that is C3 rotation. And coming to the sigma h must be perpendicular to the principal axis of symmetry. You know that C3 is the principal axis. This is the C3 principal axis. To this, your plane must be perpendicular. Then we call it as sigma h. This is how the sigma h passes. Sigma h passes from the all the atoms, that is molecular plane. The molecular itself becomes a sigma h, which is perpendicular to the principal rotational axis of symmetry. Right. This is what regarding C3 and the sigma h. Similarly, it also has S3 rotational axis of symmetry, improper axis of symmetry. This is the S3, that is C3 followed by sigma, that is along this axis rotation takes place and perpendicular to that reflection takes place. We know that in improper axis of symmetry rotation is followed by reflection, which are perpendicular to each other. So in case of S3, C3 is followed by reflection. C3 is taking place along this axis and reflection is taking along this particular plane. So this is what regarding the example of boric acid, which comes under the C3H point group. Next we have the DN point groups, right? Examples for the DN point groups. In DN point groups we have D2, D3, D4 point groups with their symmetry elements. The next point group we have is DN point group. DN point group. See, as I told earlier in a previous lecture, that whenever the point group has D, that means it necessarily will have Cn rotational axis of symmetry along with n number of C2s perpendicular to the Cn rotational axis of symmetry. Cn principal rotational axis of symmetry followed by n number of C2s which are perpendicular to this Cn rotational axis of symmetry. So wherever your point group has D, so therefore it definitely has Cn along with n number of C2s perpendicular to Cn. Now if you talk about this Dn point group, order of this point group H is equal to 2n. That is, the number of symmetry elements in the Dn point groups can be known from the order H, that is equal to 2n. Now in general, if you go for the Dn point group has identity, Cn rotational axis of symmetry. Along with this, it will have n number of C2s perpendicular to Cn. So these are the symmetry elements present in the Dn point group. So whenever a molecule has identity and Cn rotational axis of symmetry and with n number of C2s in it which are perpendicular to Cn rotational axis of symmetry, then we say that molecule comes under the Dn point group. For example, you take D2 point group, right? D2 point group. In D2 point group, the order of this point group, that is H is equal to 2n, that is equal to 4. That D2 point group, the molecule with D2 point group will have identity, C2 rotational axis of symmetry, n C2s VM, that is it will be having 2 C2s perpendicular to C2 rotational axis of symmetry. Whereas if you take D3 point group, D3 point group order is equal to 2n, that is 6. It will be having the symmetry elements identity, C3 rotation. Since the value of n is 3, therefore it will be having C3 rotational axis of symmetry and n C2s, that is the value of n is 3 here, therefore it will be having 3 C2s perpendicular to C3 rotational axis of symmetry. If you take D4 point group, the order of this point group H is equal to 2n, that is equal to 8. This will be having identity, C4 rotational axis of symmetry, 4 C2s perpendicular to C4. So the total symmetry elements here are 4, that is identity, C2 1, 2 C2s, total 1, 2, 3, 4 symmetry elements. Whereas if you go for the D3 point group, in D3 point group the order is equal to H is equal to 2n, that is equal to 6. It has an identity C3 1, C3 2 and 3 C2s. The total altogether 3 C2s and 2 C3s, 5 and 1 identity. Total 6 elements are there here. Similarly, if you go for D4 point group, the total number of symmetry elements are 8. That is identity. Here in this it is C4 1. It will be having C4 2. It has C4 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 symmetry elements, and in addition to that it has 4 C2s. Therefore altogether 8 symmetry elements are present in the D4 point group. So this is regarding the Dn point group, where the molecules has Cn rotational axis of symmetry with n number of C2s perpendicular to Cn, comes under the Dn point group. Now we shall continue with some examples where the molecules comes under the D2, D3 and the D4 point groups. Now let us take the examples for the Dn point group. In this we have to discuss regarding D2, D3 and D4 point groups. For D2 point group we have twistane as an example, and this is the structure of the twistane molecule, right? And as I said earlier that your Dn molecule, that is D2, has an identity C21 and n number of C2s perpendicular to C2. That is, whenever you have a D point group in it, wherever you have a D point group, it has a Cn along with a number of C2s perpendicular to Cn. Now let us look into this particular molecule. This molecule belongs to D2 point group. Therefore this molecule must have Cn rotational axis of symmetry principal, that is principal rotational axis of symmetry C2, and it should have n number of C2s perpendicular to that particular Cn, that is C2. Since this molecule belongs to D2 point group, this molecule will have C2 principal rotational axis of symmetry and n number of C2s perpendicular to that C2, that is principal rotational. And if you look at that principal rotation, this is how the principal rotational axis of symmetry is present in case of the twisted molecule. So it's passing from the center of this carbon and center of this carbon, and all these atoms, right, are the hydrogens. So this is how, if you see the rotation, how come the rotation is possible, you can see the rotation. This is how the rotation takes place, that is principal rotational axis of symmetry. So in case of D2 point group, as said, it has a C2 along with two C2s which are perpendicular. Now let us take the other T, that is two C2s. So if you see this is the principal rotational axis of symmetry C2, and these two C2 and this C2, these two are perpendicular to the principal, that is principal rotational axis of symmetry C2. Why? If you look at this C2 is passing from the edges, center of edges, you can see here, center of edges. The two C2s are passing from the center of, from this edge to this edge, whereas the other C2 is passing from the opposite edges. You can see here, from this is the one edge and this is the other edge, whereas the third C2, this one, it is passing from the center of the carbon atoms, center of the, from this carbon to this carbon, that is this C2 is touching the maximum number of atoms, therefore this C2 becomes principal rotational axis of symmetry, and the other two C2s becomes the secondary, and these two C2s are perpendicular to principal rotational axis of symmetry. Therefore we say that this particular molecule belongs to D2 point group. This molecule has only rotational axis of symmetry, that is C2 along with n number of C2s. Whereas if you take the other example, that is tris oxalato iron 3 complex, which is having the octahedral geometry here. These are the oxalato ligands, oxalato. So this molecule structure is octahedral, which is the central metal atom is iron and the 3 oxalato ligands. Now if you look at this molecule belongs to D3 point group, that means it has C3 rotational axis of symmetry with 3 C2s perpendicular to it. Now let us look at the C3. So how come the C3 is possible in this particular case? Now if you see, this is a triangular face of your octahedral geometry, and the rear side also has a octahedral face. Now this is the front triangular face, and this atom together will give you the triangular face of the rear side. Now you can see that the axis is passing from the center of the triangular face of the opposite side. So therefore along this axis rotation takes place. Now see the rotation, this is how the rotation is possible. You can just see in the view in the other way, another way. So this is how the rotation is taking place. So this is how the C3 rotational axis of symmetry in case of your tris oxalato iron 3 complex. So this is a C3. Now the next thing is that it should have 3 C2s. They must be perpendicular to this. Now C3 is along this axis, means the C2s must be along this axis, and that 3 C2s are present like this. That is, they are passing from the center of the ligand, center of this edge and the opposite sides. So therefore this molecule, you can see here, this is C3 and it has 3 C2s which are perpendicular to the principal rotational axis of symmetry. You have 3 C2s and C3. Since the C3 is C3 becomes principal axis. Why? Because here it has the highest n value, that is 3, whereas here the n value is 2. We already know that when a molecule has more than one rotational axis of symmetry, the rotational axis of symmetry with highest n-fold value becomes principal. So here in this case it has C3, therefore this become principal, and all these three become secondary, and these three C2s are perpendicular to the C3. So you can see the rotation of C3, you can see the rotation of C2s, the other C2 and the third C2. So therefore this is regarding the D3 molecule, that is tris oxalato iron 3 complex. And the next example we have is ferrocene, which belongs to C5 point group. Since D5 point group, since the molecule belongs to D5 point group, this molecule has C5 principal rotational axis of symmetry and 5 C2s perpendicular to the principal rotational axis of symmetry, that is C5. So this molecule ferrocene with iron in the center and 2 cyclopentane rings at the top and the bottom, that is sandwich type of structure. So this is the structure of the ferrocene. Now in this molecule it has a C5 principal rotational axis of symmetry, and that axis is passing from the center of the cyclopentane ring iron and the center of the cyclopentane, which is present at the bottom. Let us see how the C5 is passing. So this is how the C5 is passing, that is it is passing from the center of the cyclopentane ring to the from the iron to the opposite side of the, that is second cyclopentane ring. If you look at the rotation, how come the rotation is possible? The rotation is taking place like this, such that it is giving you equivalent structure. The another view of this. So this is how the rotation is taking place. And coming to the 5 C2s, this molecule has 5 C2s, and that 5 C2s will be perpendicular to your principal rotational axis of symmetry, that is C5. These are the 5 C2s which are perpendicular, and that 5 C2s are also passing from the center of the iron atom, and if you look at the C2s, this is how the C2 rotation is taking place. I'll just show you with one C2 rotational axis. One axis I have selected. Along this axis rotation should take place. This is how. The another view of this. So this is what regarding the ferrocene molecule, which comes under the D5 point group, which has C5 principal rotational axis of symmetry along with 5 C2s perpendicular to the C5. So this is what regarding the DN point groups. The next point group we have is DNH point group. In case of DNH point group, the order of this point group H is equal to 4n. The order of this point group, that is in case of DNH, if a molecule comes under the DNH, the symmetry elements are calculated with the order, that is H is equal to 2n. Now the symmetry elements which are present in case of the DNH point group are, they have the identity, they have Cn rotational axis of symmetry with n number of C2s perpendicular to Cn. They have n number of sigma v's, that is vertical plane of symmetries. They have sigma h and Sn improper axis of symmetry. So these are the symmetry elements which are present in case of the molecules which comes under the DNH point group. That is, the order of this point group can be calculated by 4n, right? And they have the symmetry elements E, identity, Cn rotational axis of symmetry along with n number of C2s. These n number of C2s which are present, they will be perpendicular to the, this is Cn principal rotational axis of symmetry, and n number of sigma v's, they have one sigma h and Sn improper axis of symmetry. If you take D to H, the D2H, the order of this point group, that is H is equal to 4n, that is equal to 8. So it has 8 symmetry elements, and that 8 symmetry elements are, one is identity, the other is C21. Since the value of n is 2, so it has C2 rotational axis of symmetry, therefore C2, and n number of C2s, that is 2 C2s perpendicular to C2. Since this is a principal rotational axis of symmetry, to this principal rotational axis of symmetry you have 2 C2s perpendicular, and you have n number of sigma means the value of n is 2 here, therefore 2 sigma v's, 1 sigma h, and it has Sn here, n value is 2, the value of n is here, it is 2, therefore it has S2 rotational improper axis of symmetry. Now let us see all that 8 elements, that is identity, C21, 2 C2s, 4, altogether 4, and 2 sigma v's, that is 6, sigma h 7, and we have S21. Total 8 symmetry elements are present in the D2H point group. Whereas if you go for the D3H point group, in D3H point group, order of this point group H is equal to 4n, that is equal to 12. That is, a molecule which comes under the D3H point group will have the 14 symmetry elements in it, and that 14 symmetry elements are, one is identity, it has an identity, it has C3 rotational axis of symmetry, C31, C32, and 3 C2s perpendicular to C3 rotational axis of symmetry, 3 sigma v's, 1 sigma h, and S3 rotational axis, improper axis of symmetry. Here in this it is S31, S32. Now if you see 1, 2, 3 and 3, 6 and 9, 10, 11, 12, total 12 symmetry elements. And here one thing is that whenever in case of DNH point group, if n is equal to even, it will have center of inversion. In case of DNH point group, if the value of n is even, then it will necessarily has the center of inversion I, right? Similarly, if you go for the next point group, that is D4H point group, the total number of symmetry elements H is equal to 4n, that is equal to 16 symmetry elements are possible in case of the D4H point group. So what are that 14 symmetry elements? One is identity, second is C41, C42, C43, and 4 C2s perpendicular to C4 rotational axis of symmetry, 4 sigma v's, 1 sigma h, and S4 rotation improper axis of symmetry, S4 where we will have S41, S42, S43. So altogether 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So total 16 symmetry elements are there in case of your D4H point group. Likewise in D5H point group, it will be having identity with C51, C52, C53, C54, and 5 sigma v's, 1 sigma h, and C5 improper axis of symmetry. That is in case of the D5H. Similarly, if we go for D6H and D7H, you have the respective symmetry elements. So all you have to remember is that in case of the DNH point group, the order of this point group is 4n. The symmetry elements in general present are identity, Cn rotational axis of symmetry, n number of C2s perpendicular to Cn, n number of sigma v's, 1 sigma h, and Sn improper axis of symmetry. So these are all the symmetry elements which are in general present in case of your DNH point group. So if your molecule has these symmetry elements, then it will be coming under DNH point group. And remember that if the value of n is even, it will be having the center of inversion in it. So this is regarding the D4NH. Now let us continue with some examples how these symmetry elements are present in the particular example. For D2H, D3H and D4H, we shall take some examples and we'll show you how this principal rotational axis of symmetries are there, how this n number of C2s are perpendicular, how the sigma v's are present, how the sigma h and the Sn improper axis of symmetries are present. Let us take some examples for DNH point group. As mentioned earlier, a DNH point group has a Cn rotational axis of symmetry and n number of C2s perpendicular to Cn. It has n number of sigma v's, sigma h and Sn improper axis of symmetry. Let us start with the example of D2H point group, that is 1,4 dibromobenzene. This is the 1,4 dibromobenzene. This is the benzene ring with the 2 bromine atoms at the 1 and 4 position. This molecule comes under the D2H point group. Since in the D2H point group it has C2 rotational axis of symmetry principle and 2 C2s perpendicular to C2, 2 sigma v's, sigma h and S2 improper axis of symmetry. Now let us look at the symmetry elements present in this molecule. It has principal C2 rotational axis of symmetry. That principal C2 rotational axis of symmetry is passing from the bromine atoms which are present at the 1 and 4 positions. This is where from your C2 principal rotational axis is passing from. Bromine, carbon, carbon and bromine atom. And these on rotation 180 degrees will give you equivalent, that is it has C2. There are other 2 C2s present in this molecule and that 2 C2s are perpendicular to the principal one. This is your principal rotational. In principal rotation, the rotation takes place like this. And these 2 C2s, this is C21, C22, these two are perpendicular to your principal rotational axis of symmetry. And if you look at their rotation, the rotation takes place like this. Just go through the first C2, which is passing from the opposite edges of the benzene atom. This is how the one C2 rotation is taking place. The other C2, which is passing from the center of the benzene atom, which on rotation will give you the equivalent structure. Therefore, this molecule is having what? C2 along with 2 C2s perpendicular to it. This is the principal axis and this is a C2, first C2 and the second C2, which are perpendicular to your principal axis. Now coming to the sigma v's. A D2H point group has n number of sigma v's. This molecule has n number. Here the n value is 2, therefore it has 2 sigma v's, and that 2 sigma v's are, this is 1 sigma v. Sigma v means it should pass along the principal axis. We know this is the principal axis, so your sigma v is passing along the principal axis. The second sigma v is also passing along the principal axis. So these two sigmas, sigma 1 and sigma 2, are passing along with the principal axis of symmetry. Therefore, these are the 2 sigma v's of this molecule. And it also has sigma h. The D2H point group also has sigma h. Sigma h should be what? Perpendicular to the principal axis of symmetry. This is the principal axis of symmetry and this is the sigma h, which is perpendicular to the principal axis of symmetry. So altogether your D2H molecule is having what? C2 principal axis of symmetry, 2 C2s perpendicular to the principal axis of symmetry, and 2 sigma v's which are passing along with the principal axis, and 1 sigma h which is passing perpendicular to the principal axis. So this is how you can look at the different rotations and planes in this particular molecule. First, it is principal rotational axis of symmetry. This is how it takes place. The other two C2s, which are perpendicular, their rotation takes place like this, and planes reflections. These are the reflections. So this is what regarding the D2H point group, that is 1,4 dibromobenzene. The other example we have N2O4, dinitrogen trioxide. This is dinitrogen trioxide N2 with 2 oxygen atoms, 4 oxygen atoms into O4. This molecule also comes under the D2H point group. This is also a D2H point group. It has C2 rotational axis, and that C2 is passing with the maximum number of atoms, that is from the 2 nitrogen atoms. The axis is passing from the 2 nitrogen atoms like this, and on rotation will give you equivalent structure. This is how the rotation is taking place. This is the principal rotational axis of symmetry, C2. To this principal axis, you should have two C2s which are perpendicular. Now this molecule has two C2s perpendicular, you can see here. This one is your principal rotational axis of symmetry. These two C2s are perpendicular. Now if you look at the rotation of these C2s, that is first C2. I'll just show you. First C2, which is perpendicular to principal axis, the rotation takes place like this. And for the second C2, the rotation takes place, that is out of plane rotation takes place, giving you equivalent. So altogether it is having what? 3 C2s. Principal C2 rotational axis with n number of C2s. Right? That is what. Next we have, it has 2 sigma V's. That is, it should be passing along the principal axis. The 2 C2s must pass along the principal axis. Then only it is called as sigma V. Now you can see these are the 2 sigma V's which are passing along with the principal rotational axis of symmetry. And it also has a sigma H which should be perpendicular now. You can see the perpendicular to principal rotation. Therefore, this becomes sigma H. Now, how come the reflection takes place? This is how the reflection. That is, first half reflects the second half like this. Therefore, it is said to be a sigma H. Whereas, if you look at the sigma V's, which is passing along with principal axis, this is how the reflection takes place. This is the another sigma V. So altogether, this molecule is having C2 rotational axis of symmetry, n number of C2s perpendicular to C2 principal, and 2 sigma V's and sigma H, and it also has a center of inversion. I said that a D2H point groups, in the value of n is even, it has center of inversion, and that can be shown like this, center of inversion. That is, so from the center of the molecule in the opposite sides, this is the center of the molecule. If you look at the opposite sides, it has similar groups matching on the either side. Therefore, we say it has a center of inversion. So this is how we are going to represent the center of inversion. So this is what regarding the D2H point group N2O4. Now let us take the other example, that is for D3H point group. Your BH3 molecule, boron, comes under this particular D3H point group. When you say it is a D3H, it should have C3 rotational axis, principal rotational axis of symmetry, 3 C2s, right, perpendicular to C3, 3 sigma V's, 1 sigma H, and S3 improper axis of symmetry. If you have any doubts, just go through the previous points where we have discussed regarding the presence of the symmetry elements in DNH point group. This molecule has C3 rotational axis of symmetry principal, that is passing from the center of the boron atom on rotation. you have your equivalent. This is, and it should have 3 C2s perpendicular. This has 3 C2s perpendicular. So these are the 3 C2s which are perpendicular to the C3, which are passing from the BH bond. BH bond. You can see this C2 is passing from boron and hydrogen. This C2 is passing from boron and hydrogen. This C2 is passing from boron and the hydrogen. Therefore, it has the 3 C2s which are perpendicular to C3, and it should have 3 sigma V's. Now look at this sigma V's. So this sigma V's means it should be along with the principal rotational axis of symmetry, right? So these are the 3 sigma V's. These 3 sigma V's are passing along the principal rotational axis of symmetry. Therefore, they are called sigma V's. This is how the 3 sigma V's are present in this molecule. This is a 1 sigma V, which is passing from boron and hydrogen, from the center of the boron and the hydrogen atoms. The second sigma V passing from the boron and second hydrogen atom. The third sigma V is passing from boron and the third hydrogen atom. This is how the 3 sigma V's are present. We already know what is a sigma V, that is what is a plane of symmetry. If a reflection is taking place from the center of the molecule, it should have 2 equal halves, or the first half should reflect to the second half. This is what we know regarding the reflection or plane of symmetry. And if you look at the sigma H should be perpendicular. We know that this is the axis where your C3 is present. To this you should have the, it should be perpendicular. Now this is how the perpendicular axis is present in case of your BH3 molecule. And coming to the next, that is this is what, and S31 and S32, these are the improper axis of symmetries. They are similar to your C31 and C32s. S31 is equal to C31, S32 is equal to C32. So therefore, no need of writing all these symmetry elements over repeatedly. Right. So this is what regarding the D3H point group. We have the next example, that is PF5, that is a trigonal bipyramidal. Unsubstituted trigonal bipyramidals will comes under the your D3H point groups. This is a trigonal bipyramidal structure. Trigonal bipyramidal structure of PF5, phosphorus in the center and the 5 fluorine atoms at the 5 corners as shown in this structure. This particular molecule comes under the D3H point group. All trigonal bipyramidal, that is unsubstituted trigonal bipyramidal structures, comes under the D3H point group. Since this comes under the D3H point group, it will have the C3 rotational axis of symmetry with 3 C2s perpendicular to C3, 3 sigma V's and sigma H, and S3 improper axis of symmetry. I'll just show you all the symmetry elements present in it. That is starting with C3. Here in this molecule trigonal bipyramidal, C3 will be passing from the fluorine, phosphorus and the fluorine atoms, and the rotation takes place along that particular axis. You can see this in this way. So this is how the rotation is taking place. This is how the rotation takes place in the C3. And to this perpendicular, it should have 3 C2s. Now you can look at that 3 C2s which are perpendicular. This is your C3, and these 3 are C2s which are perpendicular to principal rotational axis of symmetry. Now you look at the rotation in all these cases. So this is how the rotation is taking place. If you look at this particular C2, the rotation takes place like this. This is how. Now other C2, the other C2 rotation. If you look at the C2s, the 3 C2s are passing from the phosphorus and 1 fluorine atom. Whereas if you look at the C3, C3 is passing from the fluorine, phosphorus and fluorine atoms. That is 2 fluorine atoms and 1 phosphorus atom. Whereas C2s are passing from the phosphorus and the fluorine atoms. So this is regarding the presence of the 3 C2s perpendicular to it. Coming to the sigma V's. Sigma V's must be along the principal axis. This is how. So this is how your principal axis is, that is fluorine, phosphorus and fluorine atoms. Along that axis you have your plane of symmetry. The reflection takes place like this. That is first half and the second half reflect each other. That is, you can see in another view also either. So these two atoms will be reflecting each other because the plane is passing from the 3 fluorine atoms which are in one plane and the phosphorus, that is touching the 4 atoms. These two are out of the above and the below the plane, which will be reflecting each other. You see in this way. Right. Similarly, it has other 2 sigma V's. So altogether it has 3 sigma V's, and it has a sigma H in it, which is passing perpendicular to principal axis. Now how the reflection takes place, that is first half and the second half are reflecting each other. So therefore it has a horizontal plane of symmetry. And coming to the S3, that is S31, S32 are possible. See, S31 sigma, S32 again sigma. So this is how the S3 axis of symmetry is present in case of your trigonal bipyramidal molecule, that is PF5, phosphorus pentafluoride. We have one more important example, that is ethane, eclipsed ethane. This is the eclipsed ethane molecule. This ethane molecule also comes under the D3H point group, has C3 rotation with 3 C2s perpendicular to C3, 3 sigma V's, 1 sigma H and S3 improper axis of symmetry. So this is how the C3 rotation takes place. That C3 is passing from the 2 carbon atoms, from the center of the 2 carbon atoms. And rotation along this axis, this is how the rotation takes place. C31, C32, C33. For third time it will give you identity, as we already know it. And there are 3 C2s perpendicular, and that 3 C2s will be passing from the center of this double bond, here. See here. Now if you look at each C2, how the rotation is taking place. If you look at the first C2, rotation should take place along this axis. First C2, second C2, third C2. Look at the third C2. This is how the rotation takes place. So it has 3 C2s and it has 3 sigma V's. Sigma V's means they must be along with the principal axis. You know, this is the principal axis which is passing from the center of 2 carbon atoms. So along this you have your sigma V's. This is how, passing from the center of 2 carbon atoms to hydrogen atoms, such that we have 2 equal halves reflecting each other. This is how the reflection. The another view of this. See, that is the reflection which is taking place. So here you can see that each sigma V is passing from the hydrogen, carbon and hydrogen of the right side. Likewise, there are such 3 types of bonds possible. That is carbon, hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen. Along this you have one plane. Carbon, hydrogen, carbon, and this hydrogen you have another plane. So therefore 3 sigma V's are possible in case of your eclipsed, that is ethane molecule. and it has sigma h. Sigma h means it should be perpendicular to principal axis. We know that your ethene molecule has C3 rotational axis of symmetry. Perpendicular to it, this is the sigma, and this is how the reflection takes place. That is, you have two equal halves reflecting each other, so therefore it has the sigma h plane of symmetry, and it also has S3 improper axis of symmetry. S3 means S31, S32, S33. We know that S3 means C3 followed by sigma perpendicular to this. Now let us see how that C3 is. So this is a C3 and that is the sigma perpendicular. Once again you look at this C3 along S3 axis, and sigma is taking place perpendicular. So this is how the CS3 takes place. So this is what regarding the D3H molecule. We have the next example, that is tetracarbonyl dichloroosmium complex. This is a central osmium atom with these green atoms represent the chlorines, and these groups represent the carbonyl. That is tetracarbonyl dichloroosmium complex here. This particular molecule comes under the D4H point group. D4H in the sense it has C4 rotational axis of symmetry, 4 C2s perpendicular to C4, 4 sigma V's, 1 sigma H, and S4 improper axis of symmetry. Now here the value, that is, since it belongs to D4H, where the n value is even, it has a center of inversion also. Now let us look at the symmetry elements of this. First we should go with the C4 principal rotational axis of symmetry. The C4 principal rotational axis of symmetry is passing from the chlorine, osmium, and the fluorine atoms. Along this axis, the rotation takes place. So this is how the rotation is taking place. And it has 4 C2s which are perpendicular. You can see the 4 C2s perpendicular to the principal rotational axis. You can see that 4 C2s, 2 C2s are passing from the carbonyl, osmium, and carbonyl atoms, and 2 C2s are passing from carbonyl, osmium, and carbonyl atoms, like that, and the other 2 C2s are passing from the edges of the opposite edges, center of the opposite edges. Now let us look at that C2s. First C2, which is passing from the carbonyl, osmium, and carbonyl. Along this axis rotation takes place, that is okay. Second C2, along again carbonyl, osmium, and carbonyl, again rotation takes place, that's it. Now other C2, which is passing from the edges, opposite edges, like this. You can see from this edge and the center of opposite edges, along these edges rotation takes place. That is how. This is how the rotation is taking place. Coming to the other C2, the another edge. Right. So this is how the rotations possible in case of your C4 molecule. And sigma V's, since this is the principal rotational axis of symmetry, sigma V's must be parallel to it. So this is how the 4 sigma V's are present in this particular molecule. This is how. Right. So this is regarding the sigma V's, and we have a sigma H which is running perpendicular to principal axis of symmetry. You can see the sigma H, which is perpendicular to your principal axis of symmetry. Now coming to the next, since it has a center of inversion, and that inversion can be shown like this. That is, from the center opposite groups reflect each other, similar groups are there, therefore reflect each other, and it has center of inversion. So this is what regarding your D4H point group, that is osmium complex. We have one more important example, that is benzene. Benzene comes under the D5H point group. If you look at this benzene molecule, since it is a D6H point group, D6H point group, it has a C6 rotational axis of symmetry with 6 C2s perpendicular. Now let us take that C6 first. This is how the C6 rotational axis of symmetry is. So that is, it is passing from the exactly from the center of the benzene atom. Rotation along this axis will give you what? Equivalent structures. So this is how the rotation is taking place. C61, C62, C6, like that. We will do it 6 times, therefore up to C6 we will give you identity. And it has a C2s perpendicular. How many C2s? 6 C2s perpendicular to it. So these are the 6. This is along. This is a C2, and it has 6 C2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another C2 is also there, which are perpendicular to the principal axis of symmetry. I'll just show you one C2 over here so that you can understand the rest. You can see that each C2 is passing from the opposite center of opposite carbon atoms, or we can say corners of the benzene. That is, 3 C2s will be passing like that. So you can see these 3 C2s, where this C2 is passing from the hydrogen, carbon, carbon, hydrogen, that is corners, and the other 3 C2s will be passing from the edges. You see the opposite center of opposite edges, center of opposite edge, center of opposite edge. So in case of benzene, it has 6 C2s which are perpendicular to the C6, and out of these 6 C2s, 3 C2s will be passing from the opposite corners, center of opposite corners, and 3 C2s will be passing from the center of opposite edges. And it also has 6 sigma V's. Just remember that in this molecule, the sigma V's are present along the C2 axis itself, passing along the C6 and in the same direction where your C2s are present. I'll just show you how the sigma V's are present. So this is how the sigma V's are present in case of the benzene molecule. That is, 3 C2s, 3 sigmas are passing from the opposite edges, center of opposite edges, and 3 sigmas V's are passing from the opposite corners, center of opposite corners. And this molecule has a sigma H also, because since it belongs to D6H, it should also have a sigma H. This is how the sigma, that is the molecular plane. The molecular plane itself is the sigma H, which is perpendicular to principal axis of symmetry. You can clearly see here the presence of sigma H. And if you look at the, since this molecule is belong to D6H, it has S6 improper axis of symmetry. S6 means C6 followed by sigma. Therefore, both must be perpendicular to each other. See, you can see the rotation. C6 followed by sigma, which is perpendicular. Molecular plane will be off. Along that plane, you have your sigma also. So this is what regarding the benzene atom, benzene molecule. Next point group we have is D&D point group. This D&D point group, the order of this point group is calculated by H is equal to 4n. That is, the total number of symmetry elements in the D&D point groups can be calculated by the H is equal to 4n. The symmetry elements which are present in case of the D&D point group are identity, Cn rotational axis of symmetry with n number of C2s perpendicular to Cn principal rotational axis of symmetry, n number of sigma d's, and S2n improper axis of symmetry. If you look at the previous point groups, that is CNH and DNH, there they will be having the sigma v's and sigma h, whereas in case of D and D point group, it has n number of sigma d's. There is no sigma v and no sigma h in this case. It has n number of sigma d's, and in the previous cases also you see that it has a Sn improper axis of symmetry, but here in case of your D and D point group, it has S2n improper axis of symmetry. And here, if the value of n is odd, this will be having the center of inversion. Whereas in case of the CNH point group or DNH point group, we have seen that the molecule which are having the n value is equal to even, they has the inversion center. But whereas in case of the D and D point group, if the value of n is odd, it will necessarily have the center of inversion I. And if you look at the D to D point group, the order of this point group H is equal to 4n, that is equal to 8. That is, in case of D to D point group, the total number of symmetry elements which are present are 8. 8 symmetry elements are present in case of the D to D point group. The 8 symmetry elements which are present in case of your D to D point group are identity, C2 rotational axis of symmetry, and 2 C2s perpendicular to C2 principal rotational axis of symmetry with 2 sigma d's, and S2n, that is equal to S4 improper axis of symmetry is present, that is S41, S42, S43 and S44, that is again it will give you identity. Out of this, the S24 will be equal to again identity, therefore no need of writing this. So we have 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. The total symmetry elements are 8 in case of the D to D point group. I'll show you how this S42 is equal to identity, right? When you go for the example, under this we have your allene molecule as the example. Allene molecule comes under your D to D molecule. Whereas if you go for the next, that is D3D molecule. In case of D3D, the order of this point group, that is H is equal to 4n, that is it has 12 symmetry elements in it, and that 12 symmetry elements are, one is identity, C31, C32 and 3 C2s. 3 C2s perpendicular to C3 principal rotational axis of symmetry, and 3 sigma d's, and S2n. S2n is nothing but the value of n is 3, therefore it has S6 improper axis of symmetry. It will be having S61, S62, S63, S64, S65. But out of this, S62 and S63 and S64, these 3 symmetry elements will be repeated as the on doing this S62, S63, S64, you will be getting in case of this you will have your inversion, whereas S63 and S64 will give you the C1 and C31 and C32s. So therefore no need of specifying the symmetry elements again. So here E 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 and 10, 11. So in this this is equal to inversion, therefore total 12. So that is 1, 2, 3 symmetry elements here, 6, 9 and these 3 symmetry elements. Total 12 symmetry elements in case of your D3D point group. So if you look at this S63 and S64, they will be equal to the C31, C32s. That I will show you when you do the example how these S63 and S64 are equal to the C31 and C32s. Under this D3D you have your staggered ethane molecule. Staggered ethane molecule as the best example which comes under the D3D point group. Next we have your D4D point group. The order of this point group, H is equal to 4n, that is equal to 16. It has a 16 symmetry elements in it, and that 16 symmetry elements are identity, C41, C42, C43 and 4 C2s perpendicular to C4, 4 sigma Ds and S2n, that is S8 improper axis of symmetry. Under this we have S81, S83, S85 and S87. The remaining symmetry element, that is S82 or S84 or S86, will be repeated in case of C4 as a repeated C4. So therefore no need of writing them repeatedly. So the total symmetry elements are 16 here, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4, 8, 12 plus these 4 elements. Total 16 symmetry elements are present in case of the D4D molecule. This is regarding the D and D point group, and we shall discuss regarding the examples of D2D, D3D and the D4D molecules. The alene molecule and the staggered ethane molecules are very, very important. In many cases these examples have been asked to show their point group to represent the two symmetry elements present in these particular molecules, and they are asked many times to what point group these particular molecules belongs. Now let us continue with by taking some of the examples of D2D and D3D, D4D, D5D molecule point groups. Now let us take some examples for the D and D point groups. In D and D point group, the best example we can discuss is the one of the alene molecule, very important molecule. This molecule comes under the D2D point group. As said earlier, a D and D point group has Cn rotational axis of symmetry, n number of C2s perpendicular to Cn. It has n number of sigma Ds. This is very important because in previous cases we had sigma V's and sigma H. This is the first time where we are coming across the sigma D, and it has S2n improper axis of symmetry. In the previous, that is CNH and DNH, you have Sn improper axis of symmetry, but here you have S2n improper axis of symmetry. If you look at the alene molecule comes under the D2D point group. That means it has C2 principal rotational axis of symmetry. This molecule has 3 C2s actually. Out of these 3 C2s, you can see here, this C2, which is passing from the maximum number of carbon atoms. C2 is passing from the 3 carbon atoms. This becomes the principal rotational axis of symmetry. The other C2s, 2 C2s, which are passing from the central carbon atom or secondary rotational axis of symmetries. Now if you look at these C2s, the 2 C2s which are passing from the center of this carbon atom are perpendicular. Therefore these 2 C2s are perpendicular to the principal rotational axis of symmetry. So we got the C2 along with n number of, that is 2 C2s perpendicular. And next we have the n number of sigma Ds. We know that what is a sigma? That is dihedral plane of symmetry. In case of dihedral plane of symmetry, the plane of symmetry should pass along the principal axis and bisect 2 C2s. So this is your principal rotation. That means your plane should pass along this principal axis and it should bisect these 2 C2s. It should bisect the 2 C2s. So therefore I will show you how that sigma D is passing. This is how one sigma D is passing. Now this is passing along the principal rotational axis of symmetry, and it is bisecting two C2s, that is this C2 and this C2 are bisected, that is it is cutting the two C2s. How that reflection takes place, you can see the rare hydrogen atoms which are present, they will be reflecting each other. This is one sigma d. The other sigma d is present in the other axis. See, this is the other C2, which is also passing through the principal axis and bisecting the two C2s. So this molecule comes under the D2D point group, and it also has a S2N improper accept. That means it has S2N means S4 S2 in the sense it has a S4 improper axis of symmetry. How come that possible? You can say S4 means it has to be rotated to 90 degrees followed by reflection. So this is 90 degrees, then reflection. You see in the another view, the other view of this, try to understand it. 90 degrees, then reflection. You see, this is the initial structure. See these two position of two hydrogen atoms and position of the rare hydrogen atoms. It is rotated to 90 degrees and reflected back, so that you get your equivalent structure. This is how the reflection is taking place in case of this, how the S4 is present in case of the alene molecule. This was showing you once again 90 degrees rotation and then a reflection. The reflection, the plane is in the center. You can see this is the reflection plane, that is sigma h, that is it should be perpendicular to principal, therefore it becomes sigma h actually. So this is what regarding the alene molecule and its symmetry elements. Next we have the one more important example, that is ethane molecule. Previously we have discussed regarding the eclipsed ethane, which comes under D3H. Now we are going to talk about the staggered ethane molecule. This is the staggered ethane molecule. In staggered ethane molecule, this comes under the D3D point group. It has C3 rotational axis of symmetry, which is passing from the center of the carbon atoms, and 3 C2s which are perpendicular to your principal rotational axis of symmetry. Each C2 is passing from the center of the carbon-carbon bond. You see, look at the rotations. So along this axis, rotation should be done. No? You can see, just orient this molecule in a proper way so that you can clearly understand the rotation. See, this is how the rotation is taken. Likewise, the other two C2s are also present in this. This is another C2 and this is the other C2, and has 3 sigma Ds. The 3 sigma Ds, you can see they are passing along the principal axis of symmetry and bisecting C2s. I'll just show you one of the sigma D. Now this sigma D is passing along the principal axis of symmetry, right? And it is bisecting two C2s. You can see in this way, that is this C2 and this C2 are bisected, and it's passing along the principal axis. Therefore, we say it has a sigma D. Likewise, it has other two C2 sigma Ds, which are also bisecting the C2s. So this is regarding the ethylene molecule. Just go through this molecule once again. We'll come to know regarding, since it is a D3D molecule, it has a S6 improper axis of symmetry. I'll show you that S6 improper axis of symmetry. S6 means it should has C6 followed by
sigma perpendicular to it, right? In S6 the rotation is for up to 60 degrees, right? So now we shall represent that S6 improper axis of symmetry. How come this is possible? I'll just orient the molecule like this and show you. S6 60 degrees, then reflection, 60 degrees rotation, then reflection. Reflection should be done perpendicular, right? Now you are rotating along this axis, that is C6. We have selected this is your C6 axis. Along this axis you are rotating, and reflection is done in the the other orientation, another view of this 90 degrees rotation, then reflection. -90 degrees rotation, then a reflection. So this is how the different symmetry elements are present in the staggered ethane molecule. So this ends the point groups in their example. Some more examples will be given to you. Try to solve them